If you have ADHD and you've ever thought, why do the small things feel so overwhelming for me? Then this video is for you. Because ADHD is not just about focus, it also affects your nervous system, your stress response, emotion regulation, and your ability to tolerate distress in the moment. And when you look at ADHD through a functional medicine lens, you start to ask different questions. Not just what's wrong with me, but what is making my system more overwhelmed, more reactive, and less resilient? Today, I want to talk about ADHD, the nervous system, distress tolerance, and how a functional medicine model might help support the whole person. So, this is not about saying ADHD is caused by one single thing. It's definitely not about blame. ADHD is real and it's complex. And for many people, support works best when we look at both brain-based symptoms and the body systems that influence them. So if you struggle with shutdown, overwhelm, emotional intensity, burnout, sensory overload, or feeling like your system just goes from 0 to 60 really quick, let's break this down. First, ADHD is more than attention. When people think about ADHD, they usually think about distraction, hyperactivity, procrastination, but ADHD is also deeply connected to the executive function and self-regulation. And that includes things like emotion regulation, impulse control, task initiation, stress tolerance, frustration tolerance, and the ability to recover after overwhelm. So for many adults with ADHD, the issue isn't just I can't focus. It's more like I get flooded easily. I shut down under pressure. I know what to do, but I can't access what I need when I'm feeling overwhelmed. And I feel everything intensely and then I crash. That's where the nervous system conversation becomes really important. 2, ADHD and the nervous system. Your nervous system is constantly scanning for safety, stress, demand, novelty, threat, and overload. And if you have ADHD, that system can feel a lot more reactive. Why? Because ADHD affects your inhibitory control, your emotion regulation, sensory processing, and how quickly your brain gets pushed into a state of overload. So, what looks like laziness from the outside might actually really look like a stress response, nervous system dysregulation, freezing, emotional flooding, or cognitive overload. And you may notice this as getting disproportionately upset by small setbacks. Your computer didn't work right, and you freak out. Feeling panicky when there are too many steps. Trying to play a game with the family and there are too many steps in the directions and you start to lose your cool. Avoiding tasks that feel uncertain or demanding. Becoming irritable when overstimulated. That would be walking in the door and coming home from work and the house looks like a mess and you freak out on your partner or the kids because it looks very disorganized and your brain is hanging out in the 50s and then boom, you hit 60. But no one sees that you have been in the state of teetering from 0 to 50 all day long. You're going to crash after masking or pushing too hard. You're going to struggle to recover and get dysregulated. For many people with ADHD, the nervous system isn't broken, it's overworked, it's overstimulated, and you're just trying to keep up. 3, what is distress tolerance? Distress tolerance is your ability to stay present with discomfort without immediately shutting down, quitting, reacting impulsively, avoiding the task, or spiraling. And this matters a lot in ADHD because so many ADHD challenges are not just about skill deficits. They're about what happens when discomfort shows up. Some examples might be you sit down to start a task and immediately feel resistance, confusion, boredom, or anxiety. You get constructive feedback and your nervous system goes haywire and you experience it like danger. You make a mistake and go straight into guilt or shame. You feel behind, overwhelmed, mentally cluttered, and your brain just wants to escape right now. Low distress tolerance can make everyday life feel impossible because normal friction feels neurologically huge. So when we work on ADHD, one major goal is not just better productivity. It's increasing your capacity to stay with discomfort long enough to choose a response instead of having a reaction. So many ADHD adults have been spending their entire life reacting to things. It's become a coping strategy. Finally, you hit a point in your life where it's not working anymore. The capacity isn't there, and you're not able to tolerate things. Distress tolerance is really hard in ADHD, and it's lower for a variety of reasons. First, emotional intensity can be higher. Second, the brain craves relief, novelty, and escape more quickly. Third, chronic invalidation can make your whole nervous system feel more sensitive over time. If you grew up hearing things like, you're so sensitive, you're too dramatic, you're too loud, just do it, you're overreacting, you're smart but inconsistent, you're not applying yourself, that's going to train your nervous system into a place of shame, hypervigilance, and self-criticism. So now it's not just the task that's in front of you, it's the task plus the emotional memory of failing, the fear of disappointing someone, the body tension, the mental fatigue, the shame spiral waiting right behind it. That's why ADHD support has to go beyond time management tips and coaching. Therapy is a vital part of the support process to help unpack all of this shame. So where does the functional medical model fit in? Functional medicine asks, what underlying factors might be making this person's symptoms worse or making their nervous system less resilient? Again, this is not about claiming ADHD is caused by one deficiency or one root cause. It's about looking at the entire landscape. Those questions might be, how is sleep quality? How is my blood sugar? Is it stable? Am I undernourished? Did I forget to eat? Am I undereating because my executive function is shutting down at the thought of trying to figure out what to make? Is chronic stress pushing the nervous system into a survival mode? Are there gut issues, inflammation, nutritional insufficiencies, hormonal shifts, particularly that worsen mood and regulation, especially for women and girls? Is the person living in a constant cycle of overcompensation, burnout, and collapse, which I often see with my high-achieving and overachieving ADHD clients? For many people, ADHD symptoms get louder when the body is under-supported. If someone is sleep-deprived, overstimulated, their blood sugar's unstable, there's inflammation and nutrition depletion, and they're chronically stressed, their capacity to focus and emotionally regulate and the distress tolerance just usually all gets worse. So a functional medicine lens can help by asking things like, what is amplifying the symptoms? What is draining their resilience? How can we support the brain and body and have a better foundation? Let's look under the hood. Let's peel back the layers and find the root causes. So what might help when we bring all of these pieces together? First, regulate before you demand. If your system is flooded, more pressure usually doesn't help. A pause, a breath, movement, hydration, protein, sensory support. Reducing stimulation is going to help you access being able to function again. Second, build distress tolerance in tiny doses, not by forcing yourself into overwhelm, but by practicing staying with a mild discomfort while using support. That might look like 2 minutes of starting one hard email or tolerating imperfection without spiraling. Third, support the body, sleep, nutrition, blood sugar stability, movement, nervous system recovery, and addressing any underlying health patterns all matter. Fourth, reduce shame. Can't say this enough. Shame makes regulation harder. Self-understanding helps the nervous system feel safer. And fifth, use and get the right support. That might include therapy, coaching, medication, nervous system tools, and functional medicine-informed care where appropriate. If you have ADHD and you feel like your problem is bigger than focus, you're probably right. For many people, it's about a nervous system overload, low distress tolerance, chronic stress, and a body that needs more support. The goal is not perfection. It's building a system that feels safer, steadier, and more supported so your brain can work with you instead of against you. I hope this helped, and if it did, please comment part 2, and I'll make a follow-up on practical tools for ADHD nervous system regulation and distress tolerance.